Alright, this video is called Daisy Ridley Reveals the Truth About Kathleen Kennedy in the Ray movie. Let's check it out.
Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg, and today we have some more Star Wars updates pertaining to the
What's up, Meg?
future of Lucasfilm. In a brand new interview with USA Today, Daisy Ridley added to the chorus of voices responding to Kathy's exit. She was asked the question in the context of the Rey movie and her future in the Star Wars franchise. And they simply asked her, how does the president stepping down affect you? And Daisy cut right to the chase and said, it doesn't affect me.
Based! Based?
Base?
Holy shit, bro. Clap it up. Good shit. It doesn't affect any of us.
Me and my future in Star Wars whatsoever. For two major reasons. Number one, even though Kathleen Kennedy's been replaced by Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan, and she no longer holds the position of Lucasfilm president, she is still active.
Oh, by the way,
Uh-oh.
that should be the intro. I forget to do that every fucking
involved in the
time.
company. She is not retiring, and she's still going to produce on Star Wars films. She produced on The Mandalorian and Grogu, Star Wars Starfighter, and for all we know, the movie Daisy is going to appear in next. And that's why Daisy says the shifting around of senior positions at Lucasfilm doesn't really change a thing, not for her movies. And the second reason is because the Simon Kinberg trilogy, which is going to be episode 10, 11, and 12, is something Kathleen Kennedy said Dave Filoni and Lin Brennan are keen on making, despite her stepping down. It's a trilogy Disney wants, it's a trilogy Dave Filoni apparently wants, so regardless of what happens with the Rey movie, and we'll talk about that in just a second, Daisy one way or another is probably still going to return. Over the last 2 or 3 years, before her exit, Kathleen
It's just
Kennedy...
in what capacity will she be making a return in? Is she going to have her own movie, or will it be part of some other project?
He has alluded to the fact Alan Bergman and Disney want Star Wars to return to the main saga films. After the next two spin-offs, Mando and Starfighter, the Kinberg trilogy sounds like a priority, especially if Dave's film might be turned into a series.
Okay, but the main saga, are we saying that they're going to continue with 10, 11, and 12? Is that what we're saying here? Because I kind of wish they would just go and do their own thing. Or maybe they would make a 7, 8, and 9 that's actually good. Or just an 8 and 9 that are actually good. Because 7 was good. I won't deny it. 7 was good. Force Awakens was a good movie. The other two were not.
Or might be on the back burner. Who knows what's going on with that? But one way or another, it sounds like they're keen on returning to what's going on with the main characters from the sequel trilogy, post episode 9. And Kinberg is someone Dave is very close to, is someone he collaborated with on Star Wars Rebels, so even if Dave does shuffle things around, maybe cancel certain projects, I can still see this trilogy being something they prioritize. Just a theory, but it goes hand in hand with what Daisy is saying. When she was asked about the Charmin Obey-Chenoy spin-off announced in 2023, she says while there might be updates in the future, there is probably not going to be anything in 2026. And this is similar to what I've been saying, that I'm not too sure the Rey standalone is still a thing, but I think Daisy is definitely going to return at some point. And speaking of this, there's one comment she makes with USA Today that makes me...
Did Daisy get more attractive? That's crazy.
And speaking of this, there's one comment she makes with USA Today that makes me think there is something else, something secretive in the works, that she can't talk about. This is what they said. Ridley laughed at the notion that even while she promotes films that are literally made, she can't talk about any potential future projects. Everything is so accessible now. It's really wonderful to be part of something where people maybe don't know as much, and I love that people want to know, but it will also be a great surprise when the thing is done. But Daisy will not elaborate on what the thing is. Like I say, I don't think it's the Rey movie. The Charmin Obeyed standalone is not going to get an update in 2026. But it doesn't mean...
Bro, why is she looking like prime Natalie Portman? Bro, what?
Daisy hasn't been part of something else. There have been some theories about Starfighter, but recently, and this is another big update, Jonathan Tropper, the screenwriter, said,
Like, what
"You're
is
not going
going
to see
on?
any characters you've seen in the other movies. There are no
I
cameos.
think it's known that we have no legacy characters. You're not going to see any of the characters you've seen in the other movies. What is that even? So it's gonna be you in a different cast? I'm confused.
So there might be something secretive that we don't know about. And I will say, it's interesting Daisy alludes to the Star Wars news cycle, how everything these days is reported, leaked, forecasted, but something might just drop, an announcement of some kind. And someone who backs this up is a person who was very prominent in the build-up to the Rise of Skywalker, someone who leaked the Reylo kiss before it started spreading on Reddit, and now they're back and they say this: whatever happens in the next few days or weeks in the Star Wars world, just remember that Lucasfilm heard you and tried to make what you wanted. Ooh.
Which, why did they ever try to make it romantic between the two? It was so stupid. That was so dumb. It was so dumb, especially because immediately at the end of the movie, Rey then takes the name Skywalker. Like, Kylo's dead. Kylo was part of the Skywalker family, and she's just like, I'm a Skywalker. And I'm not even talking about how dumb it is for her to take the name. I'm saying how dumb it is for her to be romantically involved and then take that person's name when they're dead. Like, so you're saying you're part of the same family as the person you were romantically involved in for 5 minutes?
What this could be in reference to. Could it be the hunt for Ben Solo? Could production on an unknown Star Wars movie be starting very soon? There was a new listing by Nina Gold, so I'm wondering, what does Daisy know and what does the other source know? Now I just want to clarify something. As someone who doesn't think it's the best idea to return to Rey, at least not for the time being, I think for the meantime they should let Dave cook, maybe return to Rey in the future. I'm still far more interested in what Kinberg can do in collaboration with Dave than I am a Rey standalone. Because if Dave has any kind of say in those films, and I think he will, as Lucasfilm president he's taking over from Kathy, who was very involved in episodes 7, 8 and 9. So if they're doing another trilogy, I think Dave is very much going to be part of it. And if so, I think we're in for something that could improve the characters that were disliked in episodes 7, 8 and 9. And a big part of that is a focus on new protagonists.
No, the characters were really only disliked in 8 and 9. Because those were bad movies.
A different setting, integrating sequel characters into a new story, rather than it being a direct continuation of The Rise of Skywalker. A great example of Dave expanding his stories, instead of just doing copy and paste, is the Ahsoka show. That might be controversial to say because people had issues with it, but despite similarities with Star Wars Rebels and continuing the stories of the same characters, he didn't always take the most obvious path after the Rebels epilogue. He gave us fascinating new villains with great backstory.
What the fuck is that noise outside?
And futures that we're going to see in Ahsoka Season 2. He showed us growth for characters like Hera and Ahsoka, the spiritual awakening Ahsoka the White,
and the kid that was in the show for 5 seconds.
And Ahsoka, her spiritual awakening Ahsoka the White, and even Jason Sinjula. Sabine is someone who was definitely changed, and not always for the better, but even her story progressed. He introduced a new galaxy.
That freeze frame, bro. That freeze frame.
And not always for the better.
Why is she doing that? Why is she doing that? That's so stupid. At least put your arms out further. You can't just... You can't just... Like, what the fuck are
But
we
even
doing?
her story progressed. He introduced a new galaxy, new Force concepts, new Force witches in the Great Mothers, and even brought the Mortis gods back. I'd honestly be fascinated to see what he and Kinberg can do post-episode 9, a brand new trilogy that could make fans actually vibe with Rey. I know that's controversial and people are already probably calling me a shill, but as long as they don't make her a Mary Sue again, it'd be great to see her struggles as a Jedi Master trying to build a new academy. All I'm saying is, out of the two options, the Charmin Obaid-Chinoy film...
Which, how many times are we gonna rebuild the Jedi Academy? And how many times are we gonna rebuild the Republic? And how many times are we gonna, rebuild the Empire?
A Kinberg trilogy with Dave's influence, I would rather take the latter. But returning to the Kathleen
Coda.
Kennedy thing, Daisy is absolutely right to say nothing is really going to change when it comes to her future, because if Rey comes back,
My dog just
in
threw
whichever
up on the carpet. I gotta finish this video, though. Holy shit, I gotta clean that up.
film they're going to make, Kathy is probably going to produce on it, and it sounds like there's a good chance
Shit.
Dave isn't going to make too many changes to the upcoming slate. I honestly hope he does. I hope there's a complete reworking of
Coda,
what's
sit.
coming soon, because so many of the announced movies just don't inspire
Down.
me, and so many other fans I've seen in comment sections,
Down.
on social media, and just
Down.
judging by the fandom's reaction. The
Lay
type of
down.
film, the Rey movie, I really hope that Dave is able to make projects that
Lay
he wants to
down.
make. But what I'm saying is we have to be prepared for the possibility that not too much is going to change. But I am hopeful. And in preparation for videos like this, I've gone back and rewatched interviews with Dave at both Star Wars Celebration in 2023 and 2025. And a question that was put forward to Dave on multiple occasions is if there are more movies and shows in the works that fans don't know about. He simply grinned and repeated the word, sure. And combined with what Daisy says about surprises, combined with other rumors we've heard in the last few years, some of which have been corroborated and confirmed, like the Rick Famuyiwa series that never came about, I have a feeling there are lots of unannounced Star Wars projects at various stages of development that the Star Wars fandom isn't even aware of, whether they're still being written, on their first draft, or as far along as pre-production. There's so much we don't know about.
I
And now
kind
that
of
Dave's
wonder.
in charge, I hope some of those projects come to light. I know I've repeated this a few times at this point, but they need to interview Dave. But now I turn it over to you guys. Is there a scenario where Rey returns and it's actually a good step for the Star Wars
They
franchise?
do need to interview Dave, because I feel like a lot of the casual audience and like the Disney audience in general don't know who Dave Filoni even is. And now he's gonna be the president of Lucasfilm. Only the hardcore people and the people that cared about Clone Wars really know who he even is. I feel like more people know about Jon Favreau and the fact that he was even involved in Star Wars than people know Dave Filoni.
Should it be a Rey standalone? Should it be episode 10? Share your thoughts on all of this in the comments down below.
Yeah, I think that was a great video. I'm gonna like and subscribe. Y'all should do the same. The link will be in the description. I gotta make this outro really fast because, yeah, that was a good video. I kind of agree with the sentiment that, Rey's movie probably shouldn't be made yet. Although I do think it would be minorly interesting to see what she's up to. Just as long as it's not like the original movies that she was in. And they make them good. If they make a movie about her, they make it good. Please. That's really all I have to say on it. Like, comment, subscribe. I gotta go clean up my dog's throw up. I'll see y'all later.